talk about Microsoft next. Now, understand Microsoft owns Bing. You know, the joke about Bing is the reason it's so fast because you're the only one that's on it. But to be fair, you said they've got how much market share?
About 12%.
That often comes from market share that they have bought. So in certain smartphones and other Windows-connected devices and browsers, the default when you search in the search bar is Bing. And it takes people a while to work out how to remove the Bing setting and put it onto Google. But let me say, this is a valuable part of their business. They make good money. But of course, Microsoft is also about Office 365, productivity suite, Word, Excel, and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's also about Windows Server and the operating system, Windows 10, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Microsoft, I mean, it's almost a third that they, of revenue that comes from the Office suite that I think almost everybody uses and has used historically.
There are a few people who don't, but they normally get grief from their friends and colleagues.
No, it's because, you know, it's compatible with almost anything. You can even use it on a Mac now. The second biggest component of Microsoft business is actually the cloud.
Yeah,
and that's
the Azure business.
The Azure business. That's an area Microsoft has done really, really well in.
So just to clarify for me, that's people who use their software and host their business applications on their global diversified server infrastructure.
Yeah, so you don't need you know, to have an expensive server sitting in your back office anymore. You know, with all the security that is going to come with, you can get hosted by the Microsoft Cloud and have the latest technology and your applications and your websites and things run off that. And you know, it's obviously a theme and it's going to continue. But Microsoft and Amazon are very big players in cloud.
I didn't tell people how big this company is, and it's important because you know, our usual sort of metrics. Remember, Google are right up in that $600+ billion. Microsoft is $578.9 billion. So that's also a leviathan. It's a huge bugger. PE 27.75, dividend yield 2.08%. But look at the share chart. So this one didn't do so well, but when Satya Nadella came on as CEO and Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates went off to do their own personal projects, it's been in takeoff mode since then.
Yeah, I think, you know what, when Ballmer was around for a long time, the business failed to evolve. And I think when Nadella came in, you know, with a big push into the new technologies, especially cloud, and the success
cloud,
they've had there.
and also the idea of moving away from trying to sell Microsoft Office as a single thing in a box, which people used to copy and, you know, pretend that they backloaded it and so on, to the subscription model. Because when you go subscription model and you get people's credit card details, then it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Because then annually you renew, or monthly and you renew. And the market loves that annuity revenue.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's a lot less, a lot more resilient to, as you say, pirating and things like that. But you know, Microsoft is not really known for I mean, Bing is embedded in Windows Explorer, which is embedded in Windows. So a lot of people gain access through it, you know, through Windows itself.
But I assume, I don't use it much, but I assume the algorithms are pretty good. You know what I mean? They find you what you want. And that's quite valuable to certain advertisers because they know that there will be that traffic and that there's a certain degree of continuity in searches coming through from that source.
Yeah, the algorithm I don't think is too different from Google's algorithm, which is called PageRank, which was the proprietary algorithm they developed at Stanford together. But to be honest, you know, if you look at the way in which a Google search result comes through versus a Bing, you know, I think a lot of people are just more comfortable with Google to kind of know what they expect.
I must say, you got to hand it to these guys, all of them, because the algorithm used to just find you stuff that looked more or less now, but it's gotten so clever, the predictive thing. I mean, most of the searches people type in are spelled incorrectly.
Yeah.
They're all syntactically in a mess. Sometimes people put question marks in, they jungle the order, and it just knows. Because it's using artificial intelligence
in the background.
It knows that you might be looking for this kind of thing because that's what most people look for when they put in those words.
Yeah.
It really is incredible. It's a great service to all of us. We should be so lucky. As they say, what a time to be on live, or what a time to be online, actually, is what we should be saying.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 20 years ago, you know, when you went into the Internet Explorer and you searched for something, you know, it was a mission to go through everything because you'd get a whole lot of things that were completely unrelated to your
search. You'd be on page 3 by the time you found what you were looking for.
But was similar, and when Google came through, it was very specific, and funnily enough, it almost thought for you
Yeah.
and gave
Yeah.
you the result you wanted.
Yeah. Okay, good. Microsoft probably ought to be considered on the strengths of its Azure and of its Office 365 and its server business, with Bing as a small appendage.
Yeah.
So, for the record, hot or not, you reckon Microsoft's a good buy?
I'm hot on it for the reasons that you mentioned, the office business, the cloud
Yeah.
business, and to a lesser extent the server business,
Yeah.
but not necessarily for the search engine.
Yeah, good. I'm hot on Microsoft too, but for the same reason.